Slay the Princess is a game about the single scariest choice that you can physically give a person. How they want to be dominated. I want to make love to her while she makes hate to me. I also think it contains one of the best twists in gaming. Not the moment that you realize that the narrator is not actually a narrator and is just one of several schizophrenic voices inside of your head. Longing, rusted furnace, daybreak, 17, benign, 9, homecoming, 1, freight car. Not the moment when the princess slits your throat or beats you to death and you realize that you're in a fucked up Groundhog Day thing. No shadows today, motherfucker! It's the fact that you go in thinking that you're playing you, when really you're playing someone else. And the way they do this is simple. You aren't properly introduced to yourself, and you're never allowed to properly look at yourself through your own eyes. You are taunted by the thought of a mirror, and when you're finally allowed to use one, you are shown only enough to know that you are deteriorating.
Some days I can't stand to look in a mirror. Some days I know I'll be inevitably disappointed by what I see. Some days I just don't feel like I deserve to. To quote somebody that I used to know, I have no interest in learning what it feels like to meet my eyes. I am ignoring the advice of what is maybe my favorite image on the internet, and I'm recording this really late at night to hopefully harness the power of unbridled late night depression.
Everyone always focuses on the princess, your ally or adversary or something in between, all depending on you, but never on the fact that you can't seem to bear what it means to actually perceive yourself. Sure, there are hot mommies in your area who I want to lie down and be an object for, but what the game does most accurately and horrifyingly is give you control of almost everything except who you are.
The thing it captures best is going out on some adventure, living some life, and then coming home, looking in a mirror, and knowing that the only feature you'll be able to identify is how far you are from you. You've grown, you've withered, you've unraveled. You are nothing at all. How do I sit so that I don't look like I'm trying to seduce the camera? What's going on here? I feel like I've got two sitting positions. It's either gay or I'm trying to fuck the camera.
Somehow in a game about the eternal dance of primordial beings, the game manages to capture the essence of doing your best, the only thing you know how to do, and still falling so short of your expectations that the very act of looking at yourself causes fear and panic in your psyche. You are on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin, and in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
You are here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Now, I say all of that, and it does sound very doom and gloom. It's over! Looks maxing is out, rope maxing is in! But that's not the entirety of the game. The game doesn't end there. After all, this is a love story.
So, to those of you who can relate to my melodramatic mirror monologue, stick around. There might be something valuable for you here. And there are more hot mommies to see.
For those of you who don't know, Slay the Princess is the epitome of choice. This game is choose your own adventure on trend. You have several voices and characters who might guide your choices, but in the end, every decision is 100% yours for the most part. And the voices that guide you arise situationally. Does what I mentioned earlier happen and the bitch beats you to death with her bare hands? Congratulations, you now have a coward in your noggin. Are you too nice to her and so the narrator takes control of your body and so she stabs you to death? Now there's a smitten voice in your head. Did you fall off a train and get kidnapped and experimented on by a rogue Nazi science division? Longing, rusted furnace, daybreak, 17. The whole game is this sort of journey through a hyper-complicated prisoner's dilemma. Because at the end of the day, there are only a few broad outcomes to every scenario. You kill her, she kills you, you kill each other, you let her go. All of which end with the princess being taken by something. She's stuck in a cabin, you're stuck with the decision. And you feel the weight that comes with that. This footage is an amalgamation of 2 playthroughs I did of the game, one recently while writing this, and the other over a year ago.
I'm a very different person than I was in that first recording, I think. I carry a lot more weight now. When I do look in a mirror, my eyes look older than they used to. I fucked up a lot more. And I can lift a lot more. And I decided to just sort of trust that fact to lead me to new decisions, because I think I am far enough from him to not repeat what he did For better and for worse.
Holy shit, I am a genius. I've accidentally written my way into an incredibly profound metaphor. That's flow state, baby. You spend the entirety of the game building and rebuilding your relationship with the princess. No matter what, you know that whatever you build will inevitably end. So you have to ask yourself the question, do you just get it over with? Do you hate her and let her hate you, and when both parties die horrifically, you feel somewhat less bad about it? Or do you try to build something good and watch that good thing get sucked into the void prematurely? You're never 100% sure what choices will lead to which, and you don't know if you can mend whichever choices you do make. Because it's not just your decisions affecting a stagnant world. The decisions you make literally affect the personality and temperament of both the princess and the voices in your head. The simple choice of whether you pick up the knife in the upstairs cabin completely changes how the princess acts. If you take the knife because you're suspicious of her, then she is suspicious of you. This, in turn, makes you more suspicious of her until you eventually get to throat slit stepped on. If you don't, because you think she can't be a threat. The line I have written says she lowers her guard, but more accurately is she doesn't even have a guard to begin with, and you can pretty much just walk her out. The environment directly depends on how you act in it.
One of the concepts that I really latched onto in my Sociology 101 class was the concept of the looking glass self. The quote from Charles Horton Cooley goes like this: I am not what I think I am. I am not what you think I am. I am what I think you think I am.
Basically, that your sense of self is created not just by you, and not even really by the people around you, but by what you think the people around you think of you. The princess is a direct reflection of this. She is what she thinks you think she is. One of my favorite paths in the game is the thorn. You go down without the knife, you convince her you're going to free her, and then you betray her trust and kill her anyways. This will lead you first to the witch, who is hateful and mistrustful, and a cat. Where's the dialogue option where I pay $10,000 for her to fart into the mic? I hated that the second I said it. So, to earn that trust back, you give her the knife. And she stabs you, and you die. But you see regret flash over her face as she asks,
Why? Why did you let me do this?
The next time you see her, she is wrapped in thorns. Hurtful to you, and hurtful to her. Most of the time when I play games like this, I'm very inclined to pick the funny options.
I mean, it's the funny option. I have to pick the funny mode option, right?
My first choice when I booted up the game for my most recent playthrough was to walk down, kill her, and then stand silently in the cabin until the end of time. I didn't do that with the Thorn arc. The Thorn laments the status of your relationship, that you've hurt her and she's hurt you, and how can it be possible for you to trust each other after that? At one point earlier, the princess says that this whole thing is about blind trust, and the narrator disagrees and says that it's actually about risk. And the funny thing about that disagreement is that it's the same thing. So I asked her to give me the blade, and I cut her free. And we were forgiven. You give each other grace. Slay the Princess is a game about self-discovery at its core, because the purpose of meeting all of these iterations of the princess is to help some greater deity discover who she is.
Yes! Yes!
Yeah, if you didn't know, this whole game is about you and her, who are primordial gods of creation and destruction. There is a reason that you are taunted by the image of a mirror, a looking glass. You've grown. You've withered. You've unraveled. You are nothing at all. Through this process, you are awakened to the fact that you are the long quiet. You are an ineffable entity lulled into a fragment of your full consciousness and represented by Birdman. But unfortunately, most of us don't have that option.
When we have an ego death, it is not brought to an end by the realization that we are akin to divine constructs. But there is still something to be learned here, I think. You and the princess are mirror images to a certain extent.
There's one line that she says when you enter the heart of the shifting mound that stuck with me.
Who cares? We've hurt each other plenty, and I still like you. And if you're hesitating, then you must still like me, too.
Grace is a funny thing to give yourself and others, because by definition it is undeserved. So yeah, what the princess and narrator said earlier is correct. It is about trust, and it is about risk. And maybe when it comes to other people, you need to fight the dragon inside you that wants to burn down their world and give them enough grace to fix their own mistakes. And maybe the harder part, You need to give yourself enough grace to be forgiven for yours.
I often say to my friends that I'm very motivated by guilt and shame. Have you ever heard that thing that's like, I was mean this morning because I was stressed and tired. They were mean this morning because they are a terrible person. I tend to flip that. My mistakes are because I'm fundamentally evil.
And there are maybe, probably, people who believe that of me. Bridges I've burned or unmended because I fucked up. Or because it was the only option I could see. That's the funny thing about grace. By definition, it is undeserved.
I'm not saying to just absolve yourself of everything you've done. Because who knows, maybe you are just a horrible person. How could he say that, says one audience member, clutching their pearls with one hand and like drowning puppies with the other.
But you can't cloak yourself in guilt or shame to the point of not being able to look yourself in the eyes. Because honestly, that's a pretty self-indulgent and selfish response too.
Roll the Doctor Who clip.
You're all the same, you screaming kids. You know that? Look at me. I'm unforgivable. Well, here's the unforeseeable. I forgive you. After all you've done, I forgive you.
So if it's a pattern, then knock it off. But if it's already been done, then look into that mirror and give yourself a little grace. At least enough to be functional. Unless you did it to me, in which case you're fundamentally evil. Thank you for watching another gaming-enabled therapy session. If you liked it, then please subscribe and go watch this video where I do a similar thing about Super Mario Galaxy.